All right, so we're finally here to the last day, Sunday, and this is where the real endurance test happens. So we got there, guess when? Right at the time the gates opened again, and we seen the opening band, Windwalkers from the Inferno stage. I don't know how to describe the band. It's another metalcore type of band, but a little more sing-song type of stuff. They sounded clean. I enjoyed it. But it didn't really stand out or anything. It was a solid opening band, though. There was a substantially less amount of people early in the day on Sunday than there was the rest of the weekend.
So I noticed that as well. There was a band called Mugshot that was playing at the garage stage, and when we walked by, I swear there was only like 12 to 15 people there.
Yeah, people were just
crazy.
Shot at this point. Yeah. When did you come in?
We came in, we were there in time to see the start of the Union Underground. So I don't know what time that was.
12:50, so pretty early in the day, yeah.
Yeah, so the Union Underground was playing on the Apex stage, but we came in and went straight to the Octane stage
Dry Kill
to watch
Logic.
Dry Kill Logic. So we watched the Union Underground from the screens that were playing at the Octane stage. Not really a fan of the Union Underground.
Too. So. And somebody made like a comment about like this is like the Great Value STP, the way they looked or something like that.
I think that was me.
God, they were not good.
I think that was me. Like, hey, we got Stone Temple Pilots at home.
Yeah.
No,
we were just waiting for Dry Kill Logic, which comes out, and man, I hate to be harsh on this because it was not their fault, but this is one of my most disappointing performances of the whole weekend because his mic didn't work for the first half of the set. Or it was very low volume. Like you could not really hear him throughout a lot of that beginning of that set.
No, it was the first 2 or 3 songs at least.
Yeah.
And then at one point they gave him a mic that was working and they took it back and gave him another one that we couldn't hear.
Yeah.
And he also said that his in-ear monitors weren't working. He said he couldn't hear anything. And hopefully that explains why the vocals, when we could hear them, they did not sound good to me. To me, it sounded like somebody shouting and doing karaoke to a Dry Kill Logic song. There was no screaming. It was just like, and it was like, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
His mic was working for Rot and for Paper Tiger at least. So 2 of the bigger songs,
When he sang the clean parts of his songs, it was amazing. He sounded incredible. But at the parts where he was supposed to be screaming, I don't know if it's because he couldn't hear himself or what it was, but it was bad.
It was disappointing for sure.
We left a little early to get over to the Snot stage. They were back on the Apex stage, and we could hear it. And, the sound is different when you're listening from the other stage. All we could hear was the vocals, and it sounded like someone sound checking. It was bad.
It was... Yeah.
And for a band that I've wanted to see for most of my adult life, it was pretty disappointing.
It was probably the most disappointing thing in the entire weekend, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't think it was their fault. I look forward to trying to, hopefully see them again sometime. I will say super grateful, very thankful for being given the opportunity, like just super humble guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just so. Not the performance I was hoping for sure.
We stayed right there for Chimera. I know you went to Snot, though, so how was Snot?
Dude, Snot was everything that I hoped it would be.
Snot with Doc Coyle.
I've wanted to see Snot my whole life, and obviously never thought that would be a possibility. And they found a vocalist that just captures all of it, And I don't even know the guy's name. That's because to me, it was just Lynn Straight up there.
Yeah.
And... no offense. You can comment and tell me what the guy's name is. I don't mean any offense. I just didn't even want to know.
Yeah.
He studied all the mannerisms. He does all the stage moves. He just nailed it. He nailed the performance. The song sounded perfect. Doc Coyle, of course. Anytime I get to see Doc Coyle on the stage, if you look at my camera roll, half my pictures are fucking Doc Coyle
from
looking like a goddamn rock star.
From how many different bands? Too.
Yeah,
guys everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him in 3 or 4 different bands. I've seen him on Shiprocked as a stowaway. Doc Coyle is a legend, but it was just such a good show. It was so good. And it was everything I ever wanted it to be. The set list was perfect. I mean, not that they have that many songs to choose from anyways, but I had hoped that they closed with the song Absent, which, if you don't know, is on the Strangeland soundtrack. And it was the last song that the band recorded before Lynn passed away. And that's what they closed with. And it was just, I remember as they were getting ready to do their last song, I looked at Amy and I was like, it's going to be Absent. And then it kicked in and I was like, yes. It was just such an experience, man.
We watched it from the screens, but yeah, it was good.
They nailed it.
But Chimera was next. It's
and let's not forget real quick for people listening that don't know, Shannon Larkin from Godsmack
is the drums.
On the drums.
Yeah.
So
you got like an all-star team over there.
Yeah.
With an unknown singer who sounds just like Lynn Straight.
Yeah.
That's good though. Glad it was good. But yeah, Chimera was next at Octane. One of the bigger reasons I was going again this year. Crowd was disappointing for this one. I thought Chimera sounded good, but the crowd, man, I was like, I know it's early in the day and it's Octane stage, so it's not going to have your Garage or Vortex vibe, but
that's a lot of the older people, but yeah.
It was. The pit was kind of weak, and it's like you expect it to kick up during songs like Power Trip and stuff, and it really didn't, but it was fun either way. The band, this is the best I've heard Chimera in the past. Like, I've seen them a few times. They sounded better now than they did the last few times I've seen them. So
they sounded incredible, but so we came up a little late, like towards the end of the first song, because we had to walk from Snot, and they fucking started. They started Chimera 5 minutes before.
Yeah, this is the day that
they
changed the schedule the morning of, and they gave us some weird overlaps, and we all had to make hard choices. So.
Yeah, so we had already gotten over there a little bit late. And we're watching, and it sounds great. And then my dumbass, we ate at Wawa almost exclusively during this trip because it was convenient and delicious. And this particular morning, I decided to get a fucking Chipotle on my burrito. I know better than this. I know. We got 3 songs into Chimera, and I told Amy I got to go right now. And so I'm trying to hightail it. And this is the best part.
God, you missed part of Chimera too? Oh, geez. Okay, go ahead.
This is the funniest part, right? So I'm going and I'm clenching cheeks, and I'm just, I'm on a mission, right? And then I see this guy leaning against the rail, and he's watching Chimera. And it's the guitar player from Dry Kill Logic.
Oh, nice.
I stopped in the middle of my emergency mission, tapped him on the shoulder, and I was like, hey, bro, that was awesome, man. And then I took a picture with this man, and we talked for a second.
While you were turtling. Is this the dude with the mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Cool.
And then I continued on, and yeah, I was in the porta potty for one whole song, and oh my God, if you think it's hot outside, there's
got VIP, buddy.
There's no airflow in that porta potty. Oh my God, it was miserable. It definitely made me feel some pure hatred.
I bet. God damn. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Chimera comes back around. We get a proper show too, with a proper Chimera crowd. Dude, I think there was a solid amount of people over there. If it would have been on a smaller stage, I think the vibe would have been a lot better from the crowd.
Yeah, it's just such a big open area for.
We were too spread out.
Yeah, I mean, even Chimera at, the Orpheum or, Janus Landing or something, it would be different.
Even House of Blues, you pack all them people in. So next up for us was...
This was you guys'... So this was... So
yeah, so I should...
For everybody listening, so Amy and I, we had our kind of relaxed day on Saturday. As we talked about, we missed Lincoln Park, we missed some other things, we were so overwhelmed with the heat. We spent time in the air-conditioned tents. We spent time in the area under the bleachers. We spent time just sitting on the lawn and just relaxing and drinking waters. And so I think...
That's what Tina and I did on Sunday.
Sunday was this day for Justin. And
we started making cuts left and right as the day went on, because at the end of the day is Korn, and that's one of the other big reasons we were there. And we wanted to be down in the pit for Korn. We wanted to be right in the thick of everything. So we knew... we had to conserve. We couldn't do everything we wanted to do, and we had to make some really tough cuts. So what'd you do after Chimera?
So after Chimera, we saw Attack.
That we actually did too. So,
okay.
Yeah, we went over there for that. It was on the Inferno stage.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Super fun show. We got to see the full crab course dance from the guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
There were people wearing little pincher claws on their for gloves.
You talk about bands that could tour with Electric Callboy. I think Attack would fit in on that, you know.
Absolutely. I don't even think you have Electric Callboy without Attack.
I was thinking that while I was watching them. It's like they kind of laid some of the groundwork for what Electric Callboy does now. And
Attack crab walked so that Electric Callboy could run.
Yeah, fair enough. It was fun.
It was a very fun show. They were super tight live. They sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
They had heavy parts that were really cool. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Same. I didn't know what to expect. We were down in the pit for this again because it's just like we did every single song.
And then after this is, I think, where you guys kind of took a little break.
We really started cutting. So this ended at 3:35. It was an hour and a half till we seen another band.
So from here, we went and saw Fit for an Autopsy, which was great. They were on the next stage over, so Vortex or whatever.
We might have stayed for a song. We were going to find a place to relax. So
Joe Bad came out with a mullet unexpectedly. He didn't have that last time I saw him, but they sounded incredible just like they did last time I saw him. Great show there. And then we watched a band that I don't know anything about, Bless the Fall.
Oh, okay. They were Inferno.
A name that I've been familiar with for years.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what they sounded like.
Same.
They came out, and their vocalist was probably one of the best frontmen I've seen all weekend.
Oh.
He's this tall, lanky guy, and he was just all over the stage. Like, you couldn't even keep up with him. Like, you blink your eyes, and he's on the other side of the stage. And initially, he comes out with, like, a backwards cap and, you know, big shirt on and all this stuff. And, like, literally at one point, he disappeared for a bit, and then there was this other guy on the stage that had long flowing hair, and he had his shirt off, and he had abs. And I asked Amy, like, who is that? She's like, oh, that's the same guy. He just took his shirt off. I was like, this dude was hiding all of this under that.
He didn't want to make it too wet from the beginning.
Like, this man's making me thirsty. Like, I was like, what the hell's going on?
Guy.
But no, the band sounded great, dude. I was impressed. Old school metalcore. I probably back in the day wouldn't have listened to it because the vocals were a little bit higher and a little bit more on the emo side, and I would have wrote it off quick. But I liked it.
Nice.
It was really good.
7 hours after Violet after that?
7 hours after Violet. So
right next door at Vortex.
A mini super band for people that don't know. It's Taylor Barber from Left to Suffer. It is...
You got members of Winds of Plague in there.
The guy from Winds of Plague is in there. You got Chavo on the bass from System of a Down. The guy that...
the clean vocals is Alejandro.
Yeah.
And he's from American Idol. You can laugh all you want. The dude can fucking sing.
So it was weird. Like, it became evident really quick that most people didn't know who they were.
They're very new.
It was a really small crowd, one of the smallest that I had been a part of the whole weekend.
Well, who they're up against is where I was. So
yes, and I think that had a lot to do with it. But I think if people knew who was in the band, I think it would have changed that. Because as people, I could literally hear people next to me. They were like, "Wait, is that Chavo from System of a Down?" But also think about all those people that came to Rockville early on Friday morning to watch Taylor Barber and Left to Suffer.
Yep.
Those people would have been there if they would have known.
How do they like Left to Suffer and not know about his other band though? How does that happen?
I don't know.
In today's day and age, how does that happen?
Not everybody is as in tune as we are. We're nerds about this stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say, man, I was super impressed. I had really only listened to their album like once, and they have a unique thing going. Their sound is... It's like this weird mix of alternative rock and deathcore.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow it works. And I still got these... I'll never be able to get pictures like this of Chavo ever again.
Probably
like,
not.
I have pictures, like, from me to you of Chavo playing the bass.
Yeah.
Like, not many people have that.
Yeah.
I was going to post them and be like, I was front row for System of a Down. But no, it was super cool, man. I really enjoyed them.
It's a band that I wanted to see, but one of them last minute changes was they put them right up against Motionless in White.
Yeah.
So.
And that was a tough choice for us. But Amy and I had talked about it going in, and we're like, let's see some stuff we never saw before. And that was our whole strategy for Sunday, was like, let's go. We've seen so many of these bands so many times, Motionless being one of them. We've seen some of the best shows of our lives were Motionless shows, whether it be at the Scranton Apocalypse, whether it be on Shiprocked. Like, we're not going to get a show that's better than that. So let's go see something that we never saw before. And that's what we decided to do. So, it was tough. It was tough not going to see Motionless. Like, anytime Motionless is anywhere, I usually go watch them. But
yep, we're going to get them again at Warp, though.
So I don't know what was next. Probably was Motionless.
It was at the same time. So for me, it was Motionless. That's where we were. We waited over there for a little while, got a good spot. We were with the pit crew over there. Pit flags were flying all over the place. It was a lot of fun. I don't really like seeing them in the daytime, though. It's a band that really needs the lights and the darkness and all that. They should have been flipped with somebody else. They should have been after Mudvayne at this point. I don't really
I would agree with that.
We'll get back to Mudvayne in a second. But Motionless had a great set. They really did. Really annoying person in the pit who got what was coming to him, though. I'll say that.
All right.
Then they were confused to why it happened. Well,
so our plan next was actually we were going to go like get some food and stuff. But Memphis Mayfire came on.
Yep. Over there at Inferno, yeah.
And we've seen Memphis, we've seen them several times. And I'm not really a big fan of their newest album.
No.
But what happened was basically they came out, blew us away on the first song. We stayed for almost the entire set. I think when we left, they only had 1 or 2 songs left. They're just so good live. It was so hard to walk away. They're fun. And they sound better than almost any band that I heard all weekend. It was insane. So, Memphis Mayfire, if you get a chance to see them live, don't skip it for sure.
Seen them in a small club, that one show. I had mentioned the From Ashes free show. Memphis was the other band at that show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, dude.
I'm pretty sure it was that show. I know I seen Memphis in From Ashes before. I want to say that was the same show. It might not have been. I don't remember. But anyways, we went over to VIP over on the by the Octane stage right after Motionless, and we sat over there for a good amount of time. We actually sat over there for the entire Mudvayne set and just listened to it.
So before you get into that, we went back up to the area under the bleachers, and while we were up there, Chevelle was playing.
Oh, I think we did hear a couple of their songs in passing too.
And so earlier you said that the worst performance you heard all weekend was Lit.
They were fucking terrible too, Chevelle.
Chevelle was really bad.
Really bad.
And I was surprised.
Just a little bit that I heard over the audio, the speakers.
And that's how I heard it. You know, in fairness, we weren't standing over there. We were under the bleachers. We're going to the restroom. We're getting water. We're doing all those things, getting prepared for the rest of the night. But I was just appalled. Like, I was like, God, they sound terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah. So anyways,
awful. Just
wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Chevelle kind of sucks.
I don't know. So I said Lit was the worst performance of the weekend, but Chad Gray's fucking awful live. Like, I know I'm going to piss some people off with that, but Mudvayne was so bad. Like, the music was bad. The vocal was really, really horrible. Like, if they did the LD 502, I don't know if I would go see it at this point because of how bad this was from what I was hearing. And we weren't really in a bad spot where we're at in the VIP. We were right there near the bleachers of VIP on the other side. So we couldn't see it, but we could hear everything perfectly fine. And it did not sound good at all.
I tend to agree with you. Other than I don't think the music sounded bad. I do think the mix was a little bad. Chad has not been a good vocalist for a long time, and
he doesn't sing half of it anymore either.
And now they got the other guy on the stage that's doing a lot of the backing vocals, and they don't even give the guy credit. He kind of has to like hang in the back.
Yeah.
But Marcus Rafferty, if you're listening, shout out to you, brother. I know you're holding down half of the vocals there. It did sound bad. The mix was bad, which made it drowned out a lot of the music. And then Chad doesn't, like you said,
it's like he's out of breath all the time.
It's like he's out of breath all the time. And he's been like that for a while, man. I remember seeing him with Hell Yeah on Shiprocked. and I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, like the songs are, you can't even sing along because it's like,
It's really bad.
yeah. So
It's sad.
yeah, not what you expect. And it's
Mm-mm.
disappointing because you see these young bands going out and it's like, do they need to use some of these tricks that the younger bands are using?
They
Like,
probably should.
do they, I don't know.
They had a massive crowd who loved it, but those people have to.
I watched some of it and I was closer than you, I think, and I did not think it sounded good. And to be fair, the time before when I did see them once at the amphitheater when I thought they sounded pretty decent, but I haven't seen them since I was a kid, since I was, 19, 20. I saw them at Livestock.
I seen them at Rockville when they
Hills.
came back. I want to say in like 21, and I want to say they sounded good that day.
They
but
sounded a little rough then too, but not.
Yeah,
it was worse.
I remember you saying they didn't sound good.
Yeah,
So,
but they used to sound good. I just think, and it's weird. It makes me wonder what's going on because if you look at Chad, he's probably in the best shape of his life. Like the guy's, when he first came back, he was chubby and out of shape.
mm-hmm.
Dude's cut and he's fucking big and he's like, you would think he would have the endurance to be able to pull this stuff off.
Don't.
It just makes me wonder what's going on with the man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
very disappointing.
On the opposite end of this, though, pretty sure you're going to the next.
No, yeah, I got a curveball for you first. So Tina's daughter Allie was on the rail for ICP the entire day.
Oh, yeah.
So we were taking her food and water. Her and her friend Ben and Jayla were all over there. And we were taking them water and food throughout the day. So we went and dropped off some food to them over there as the Hawthorne Heights was wrapping up their set. So we got to hear the last two songs. And I'm not a Hawthorne Heights fan. I did watch them last year, but they have an energy about them live that's pretty fucking cool. And everybody knows the Ohio is for Lovers song. That was the last song they closed with. And that's what we heard as we're leaving the stage area to go over to the next band. It's good. They sounded great.
You cut your wrist and scratch your eyes?
No, but Tina was singing it to every single person as we're walking by. You would have thought she was hammered drunk and she was stone cold sober.
Yeah. Hey, music is intoxicating.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's one of them weird little moments of the weekend that I won't ever forget either,
Yeah.
Just that little, but it was cool. Yeah, our next band was Marilyn Manson, actually.
And that's where I was going.
But, so the first half of the set, though, we again sat down in the fucking grass way in the back behind the tent, could barely even see the screens. We were just listening. And it sounded good. And we were like, let's try to get closer because Korn's next on the stage. This is over at Apex. Korn's next. Let's go watch the end of Manson and just slowly just kind of weave our way through the crowd. And that's what we did. Manson sounds great.
It was crazy because the last time I saw Marilyn Manson was a Halloween show at the Hard Rock in Orlando. And it was one of the worst performances I ever saw. He sounded terrible. He was clearly out of his mind on drugs, and it was very disappointing. Like, we were so stoked to get to see Marilyn Manson on Halloween. We're like, this is going to be one of the coolest shows we've ever seen. So this was big time redemption, man. Like, we went over there not expecting much, and I heard one of the best Marilyn Manson performances ever.
It's pretty unreal, the turnaround here.
And also super cool to see Reba from Code Orange up there playing the guitar, doing the backing vocals. I was so excited for her because the band's on hiatus, and what a big move for her to be able to play in such an established band.
He's having a big resurgence right now. Like, and I'm not going to say the man's stone cold sober right now. I don't know, but
I know
he seems like he's doing very well and taking care of himself.
He's doing the right things to where his shows are quality. And that was, it's been a long time since I've seen a Marilyn Manson show that was that good.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was completely dialed in, just firing on all cylinders.
Good shit.
Fantastic.
Did you go check out ICP?
Yeah, but I had two other things before that. So,
was there that much in between?
We had a much busier Sunday than you. So
yeah, we didn't do much. I mean,
so one of my musts for me was Deaf Heaven. I've been getting into them a lot this year. Really love the new album, and didn't know what to expect.
Garage stage, right?
Yeah. So if you've heard Deaf Heaven, they're what I would call black gaze, and if you listen to it, it doesn't seem like it would be super exciting to hear live because it's very chill. And in fact, I sleep to it, if that gives you any indication. Because some of it doesn't have the black metal vocals. Some of it does. Depends on which album you're listening to, but I can sleep to the black metal vocals too.
Fair enough.
I sleep to Lorna, so.
Yeah, very true. So
I didn't know what to expect. And I go over there, Amy and I go over there, and these guys come out, and they're the most regular looking dudes that you've ever seen. Like, you could have been standing by them at every show and not even remembered. The singer's wearing like a jersey, and this is a guy that's doing like these crazy black metal vocals and stuff. But he was one of the most hyped frontmen I've seen like the whole weekend. Like, he's getting everybody pumped up. He's jumping around. He's running all over the stage. And it was just way more of a high energy show than I expected, because I kind of expected a bunch of dudes to just be standing on the stage and playing this really cool, intricate music. And they got everybody involved and hyped, and it was very fun. So we didn't stay for the whole thing. Then we did go over because Amy wanted to see some of Chiodos, Kodo, however you say it. Interesting band that is. It's weird because I feel like I'm a big fan of Glassjaw. Probably if you listen to this show, you probably know that. I feel like they're like a distant cousin or something of Glassjaw, like musically. But the vocals they're just so much more, screamo, emo type stuff that I think I haven't been able to get past it. But we watched a good bit of this show, and I focused mostly on the music, and I was like, this is pretty good. Like, if they had a different vocalist, I'd probably be into this, because it's kind of in the same vein as, Glassjaw and stuff like that. So I kind of enjoyed it. That guy also had on a really ridiculous outfit with like lace on it and stuff. Like, I got a picture of that.
Tina really wanted to see them, but we just, we were just getting close as we could for corn. So
yeah, and you guys were kind of chilling because you were exhausted from all the other days.
Yeah, we went super hard Friday and Saturday, like very, very hard.
This was our busy day. We saw more bands on Sunday than any other day. And then, so we split up from this point. Amy wanted to catch some of Bad Omens. And so,
which I hear was really good.
I watched
it on the screen and was not impressed, but you can only see, they zoom in on just
one person at a time.
One person, so you don't see the whole
vocalist.
Show. Yeah.
So she went over there, and we were already on this, the side of the, I think the Vortex stage. So I was like, ICP's getting ready to start. People are filing in. I tried to wait on our friend Dennis. Like, I was messaging him. I wasn't getting any response, and I just kept seeing people pour in. And I was
Dude, I heard it was piled all the way outside of the arch.
It was.
Like, this is how. So how did ICP have this resurgence? Like, they are definitely are in an argument that they could be on the main stage, or at least the Octane stage, as a headliner or a co-headliner at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
the crowds they're bringing in is
2
insane.
years in a row, they put them on a stage, and they showed that they needed to be on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
And so I saw all the people piling in. I was like, I need to go right now. So some of you may not know this, like, I was hardcore juggalo growing up, all the way up till I was probably 18 years old or so. The early ICP albums had a big impact on my life.
Yeah, me too. I really wanted to see this.
And I had seen ICP, I think 3 times, in my youth. And missed them last year because they were up against Machine Head, and I was determined I was going to see them this year. So, I just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And next thing I know, I'm, 2-3 rows back from the rail.
Oh.
And the band comes on, or the guys come on, I should say. No band really to speak of. Oh my God. Nostalgia kicked in full force. And I felt like a kid when I saw those clowns walk out on that stage. And their set list was all throwbacks.
Yeah.
It was all songs I knew, because there was a period where anybody that knows ICP's discography, I quit listening after Hell's Pit. Not for any good reason. That's just...
I didn't make it past Great Malenko. That was about the end for me.
Oh, wow. So I went way longer than you did.
Yeah.
But after Hell's Pit, I don't know any of their music. And, for no other reason than I just got so deeply into metal and stuff that I just lost touch.
Yeah.
And they just played all the stuff I knew. and it was incredible. I was jumping around. I was singing all the words. You know,
Awesome.
it was so crazy, man. Like, it was this big. I didn't expect it. Like this goofy ass white boy rap duo who I had kind of written off as like this novelty part of my life and just this goofy thing that happened. And when I walked away from this show and I started to try to tell Amy about my experience, tears just started streaming down my face and I could not control it. And I was like, I don't understand why this is happening. Yep. And then I thought about it afterwards and I was like, man, these guys meant a lot more to me than I ever gave them credit for, because I was the dorky white kid that was getting bullied all the time. And, you know, all of those lyrics spoke to me, and it was just such a thing, man. And it was crazy. The production has grown. There's so many people on the stage. They do these Fago breaks. They just stop and they're like this little jingle. They're just playing this little jingle and they're just
launching Fago
and dumping huge buckets of fucking Fago on people. So I know, like, you know, Allie and Ben and them got it.
Soaked. Their shoes were squishy when they were coming back.
Luckily, I was just on the outskirts of all of it, and I only felt like I felt it on my face, like some overflow, but I didn't get soaked.
They had all their faces painted.
Originally, I wanted to, and then I was like, I'm wearing my brand new bright yellow Every Time I Die shirt. I really don't want it to have multicolor stains of soda all over it. And I hung back. That's being a responsible adult. That's what that is. I was like, I just spent $30 on this shirt. But what a show that was. And I did not leave until the very, very end when I was sure they weren't coming back. And so by the time we made it to Korn, we were in a much different position than you. And it was my fault.
It's funny you mentioned the shirt, because I will just call it a mistake. I wore my bright lime green All Shall Perish shirt this day, and it's all fucking stained up, probably from Korn, because I didn't do much before Korn, so it has to be from Korn. Yeah, we were right down there, not too far back. We were closer than we were for Linkin Park, again, right where the pit was, and I mean, they opened with Blind. And as it's counting down and them bass drops start hitting in, you know, Tina hands me her glasses and goes, hold these. And I'm like, oh God, I don't have time to get these in our bag right now. This shit is about to go stupid, you know? So I literally put her brand new glasses that she just paid a lot of money for. Somehow they survived the whole weekend. But anyways, I put them in my pocket and madness happened and they did not break. I protected them. Listen, I've seen Korn a few times. We've seen them last year from way far away. I've seen them at Rockville before, but never from the pit. You know, Woodstock 99 is a big deal to me. Wasn't there. Being down there in this pit, it's the closest I'll probably ever feel it, you know. Just like Limp Bizkit last year, now I got Korn this year. Checking them boxes, you know, like they opened with Blind, man. They opened with Blind, and they played songs like For You that they don't hardly ever play, and top to bottom, that set list was just, these guys are getting better and better.
They always do.
It's unreal, man. It's like
we're so fortunate to have a band like Korn, because when you look at bands from like our parents' generation, you look at a band like Motley Crue,
they
like
peaked, and then
they became trash.
Yeah.
Korn gets better.
Yeah.
Better and better with time. It's just amazing. I mean,
and they're loved by everyone. There's no controversy there. Everybody loves Korn. You know, it's a band that's just, it's transitioned generations and transcended generations. You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, you've seen little kids out there, you know, you've seen 15, 16-year-olds with their Korn t-shirts, and which isn't,
we'll briefly touch on that right here. Like, this was the youngest Rockville crowd I've ever seen, and I kind of expected that going in. But like the youth, that's been infused into this festival.
I mean, it's very smart. It's the way they did the lineup.
Yeah.
They're finally starting to bring in, I mean, like, we didn't talk about them, but Pierce the Veil.
Massive band to the youth.
Massive. I don't get it.
I don't either.
We saw some of their stuff like from far back. Not for me.
No.
But their crowd was massive.
But then they even bring in the bands like ICP and Korn that the young kids have pulled back into like they're making them even bigger now than they maybe not Korn ever has been, but ICP, you could argue they might be bigger now than they've ever been. Like they're
it's just like the Limp Bizkit thing and the
Limp
Nickelback
Bizkit,
thing.
yep.
Like all of a sudden, these bands that everybody loved to hate on, like people called ICP the worst band of all time.
Oh yeah, for sure, for a long time.
And look, I mean, they filled up both stages, like the Vortex and Inferno, filled from front to back, and to your point, around the corner, and to the point where like there was no way that like when Amy came to look for me, she was so overwhelmed by that crowd. She was like, "I'll find you after this."
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah,
yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Korn closed it out, and it was the perfect band to close it out. And what a great weekend,
dude! Sunday was just such a nostalgic day all the way through, though. I mean, there was a few newer bands that we saw, but think about who was there: Snot, Chimera, Dry Kill Logic, Marilyn Manson, Mudvayne, Korn, ICP, like all the shit that we were listening to.
It was a nostalgia
when we were 15,
wave.
16
Big
years
time.
old. Like, it's just, man, what a day it was. And that putting that on the Sunday, I think, was the best possible thing you could have did.
It was great.
Because Sunday
Loved
ended
it.
up being my favorite day. And man, I thought I was kind of going to check out ICP for old time's sake. And I just never thought it was going to mean as much to me as it did. Like, outside of Sublime, it was my favorite show of the whole weekend.
I was just going to ask you, so Sublime and ICP were your favorite ones of the weekend?
Absolutely. No question.
Man, Linkin Park and All Shall Perish for me, probably.
There you go.
Korn is right there, though. That Korn performance was unreal.
For once, you get to be more metal than me. Look at that.
But my favorite, I mean, Sublime, obviously, too. I mean, if I had to do top 5 Sublimes in there, favorite moment of the whole weekend, crowd surfing out to Linkin Park, but right after that's that Wall of Death.
Favorite moment of the whole weekend for me, watching a man crowd surf in a trash can.
That's really cool, too. Rockville's fun, man. Dude, and when you leave Rockville, there's the Rockville Blues after, the Rockville Depression, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's 4 or 5 days of just this carnival environment with all these like-minded people, and there's really no rules. Just respect each other, you know, and pretty much you can do and get away with anything you want.
And then the next day, you got to wake up and
and it's back to real life.
To work.
And it's like the weirdest fucking slam on the brakes of everything, you know? So
do your dishes, do your laundry.
Already looking forward to next year, man. Next year's the 15th anniversary. I know you guys are potentially not going to do it, but
look, it's goddamn hot out there, okay? If you're thinking about going to Rockville, just take the heat into consideration. That's all I'm saying.
It's no joke, but it is the biggest metal festival in the country. They reported over 230,000 people over the weekend. It's the biggest one that they've had yet. It's only getting bigger. 15th anniversary next year. They're going huge. So we'll see what we get. Did you guys go to Rockville? If you did, let us know in the comments. What were some of your favorite bands, favorite moments? What did you guys think? Will you be back next year? How was the heat? Did you pass out? Did you find any of our picks? Because I was throwing them shits everywhere. That was funny. People picking them up and thinking it's a band. Gotcha. Maybe you're listening now because you found a pick. If so, let us know. Anyway, that's Rockville 2025. You got anything else to add, Jason?
That's it.
All right, guys. Until next time.